right, everybody, I am back with a brand new movie review. I just got back from seeing Fantastic Four: First Steps, which is the brand new movie in the long-running Marvel series. And boy, do I have some things I want to talk about in regards to this film. First of all, this movie was directed by Matt Shakman, who I believe he did one of the shows like WandaVision on Disney Plus, and everybody was wondering if he was going to be able to pull off a feature film. And I can say, yes, he can. Now, before I get into my review and I give you my final score here at the end, I will tell you that this film, there were 3 big films here in July. You had Jurassic World, Rebirth, you had Superman, and you had Fantastic Four. And the good news is, this is the best Fantastic Four movie to date, and it was the best movie of July. There is no question about it. This was far and above anything they did with Superman, far and above anything they did with Jurassic World. This was a solid flick, but it isn't perfect. And I'm going to keep this as spoiler-free as possible. I'm just going to talk about some basic things. And at the end, I will give some minor spoilers after I give my review, some things I want to talk about that my wife and I actually discussed as soon as the movie was over. And what was interesting is my wife, the first thing out of her mouth was, wow, this was way better than Superman. I didn't even engage that conversation. She actually liked Superman way more than I did. And she said this was way better than Superman. She was engaged from the beginning. The beginning is phenomenal. The way they introduce these characters is great. Now, we do have the Fantastic Four. And let's run through the cast here real quick. We have Pedro Pascal playing Reed Richards. You have Vanessa Kirby playing Sue Storm. You have Evan Moss Backrack. I don't know how you say his name. He is a character actor. He is playing Ben Grimm. And you have Joseph Quinn of the Stranger Things fame. He is Johnny Storm. And then you have Julia Garner playing Silver Surfer in this film. Now, what's interesting about this movie is they introduce a big baddie from the Marvel Universe. And I'm not a Marvel fanatic, so I can't speak to how he was portrayed in the film. But we do get a glimpse of Galactus in the trailer. And I will tell you, Galactus in this movie was truly terrifying. I mean, truly terrifying. And the CGI was really well done. There was nothing that took you out of this movie when you were watching it. And when I was watching this, I was like, damn, this is the group that should be doing like a Green Lantern series for DC, because they actually get to go into space. There's some things that happen. And I was watching this going, wow, this is how Green Lantern should be. And instead, we're getting a Green Lantern show from DC that's going to be taking place on Earth. And it's like True Detective. Make it make sense. But let's talk about this movie here. First of all, Michael Giacchino did the score. Phenomenal. Phenomenal job. It keeps you engaged. You're gripped. It really adds to the story. It's really well done. It's a really good score. The acting was really well done. Every single character had screen time. You got to see their powers. You got to see them interact with people. It was really well done. The way the movie kicks off is kind of a montage telling us how the team got put together. And it's like a 10-minute montage. It's amazing. It is a perfect introduction to these characters. They don't waste time. There's no fluff. It's really well done and throws you into it right away. Very good storytelling. Very good storytelling. And then we're thrust into the current time on Earth, 828. If anybody has seen Thunderbolts, at the end of Thunderbolts, we do have a Fantastic Four ship come in. And unfortunately, if you think that's going to be explained in this movie, you are dead wrong. It does not get explained. I thought the end of this movie was going to tie directly into what we saw at the end of Thunderbolts, and it doesn't, which is mind-boggling, because I don't know how they're going to explain that. So people going into this know that it is a standalone story. You do not have to see any of the other Marvel films to enjoy this one, which is good. It is very much a standalone film. And it's going to remain that way, but one of the post-credit scenes does tease something for the future, and you're going to want to stay for that, because the first one is worth staying for. The second one is a complete waste. I wouldn't even bother staying for the second post-credit scene. But the way the movie plays out is you got the Fantastic Four, and you find out at the very beginning, and I'm not giving anything away by this. I'm not giving anything away because it's like revealed in the first couple of minutes of the film that Reed Richards and his wife, they're going to have a baby. And the baby plays a big role in this film, big role. At the same time, we have the Silver Surfer who comes in and lets them know that the Earth has been tagged to be destroyed by Galactus. So they set off to go try and stop Galactus before he gets to the Earth, and that's all I'm going to tell you. This movie will keep you engaged from the opening until the end. It's not boring. The aesthetics look like the 60s mixed with a little bit of modern stuff. The way these characters interact with each other, you believe they're a family. It was really well done in that regard. My real issue with the movie was the story, okay, especially towards the end. It was predictable. In fact, I had this conversation with my wife as soon as the movie ended, and I would say that I predicted not everything that happened at the end, but I predicted who was going to do what and how it was going to happen, and everything happened the way I thought it was going to happen. And so it was predictable in that sense. So there's nothing super amazing about the story. Just know that it is very much about family. And it was really well played out. There is never a scene that takes you out of it. The only gripe I had with the CGI is I really wished Silver Surfer would have looked more silver and shiny. It was like a dirty silver look rather than a shiny silver look. I really think they could have done better with that, but it wasn't terrible. Now, there was a lot of talk before the movie came out that they were going to change Johnny Storm's character, that he wasn't really going to be a womanizer, but I'm here to tell you that they keep his character pretty true to the way he was. Not quite as much, but you could still see he definitely likes women in the movie. And so they don't change him entirely, but it's not in a derogatory way. Let's put it that way. So it's really well done. The way all these characters were portrayed was really well done. Also, The Rock, whatever his name is, I don't know, Ben Grimm, whoever plays, the character, whatever his name is out of the Fantastic Four, I really wish when he walked and did stuff, you'd hear more of The Rock. It just didn't really, the sound on that really didn't mesh, so it wasn't perfect. But let's talk about my score on this film, because when the credits rolled, I got to tell you, this is the most enjoyable Marvel film since Endgame. It just was. It was a solid film. It's going to keep you engaged from beginning to end. It had great cinematography, great CGI, great acting, great directing. It was really well done, guys. But let's talk about my score at the end of the day. I am torn between giving it a 3.5 and possibly a 4, okay? I would say more towards 4, but it doesn't, for me, 4 has to be something really special, and it just didn't quite get me to a solid 4. So I'd say between 3.5 and 4, but it's close to 4. I would say it's very, very close. And so that's what I'm going to give this movie a score at. I'll just say it's a 4, a low 4, but it's a 4, okay? It is totally worth seeing. If you choose to see any one of these films in July, this would be the film to go see. You will be more entertained than seeing the other 2 films. But I had one little gripe with the film. Disney, and this is where, if you don't want to know anything, and I'm even going to keep this somewhat vague, if you don't want to know anything, now is where you're going to want to click off the video, okay? What I predicted at the end, there's still a little bit of an agenda going on, and my wife and I talked about this on the way home. Disney does not like men. They just don't. Men to Disney are less than. They just are. You could see, like in Thor, Love and Thunder, how all the men were goofy and the women were strong. What they've done with Disney Star Wars, they did it here too, but not in a derogatory way. My wife said at least they did it in a respectful way that actually served the story. But I knew what was going to happen with these women at the end. I knew that they were going to be the ones to save the day. I knew what was going to happen. It was predictable. You could see it coming from a mile away. And so Disney is still pushing that agenda. They just are. They don't like men. And they have never liked men. It's some weird thing with Disney. But I will tell you, like my wife was saying, at least it was done in a way that didn't really distract from the story. And it was more organic than some of the stuff they've done before. But there's a reason why they chose Julia Garner to be this version of the Silver Surfer, which is not the one, the main one from the comic book. She is in the comic as a female, so this is a version of Silver Surfer, but not the main continuity Silver Surfer. That will probably come up in future films. So there's kind of my review on this. I really enjoyed it. It's engaging. It's a joy to watch. That's what I could say is you're going to have a good time if you go see this movie, but it isn't perfect. Like I said, it's very predictable because of what Disney does. You know where it's going to go at the end of the day. But I do appreciate the effort. I do appreciate that it's much better than Captain America Winter Soldier. It's much better than Thunderbolts. It's much better than anything Marvel has really done since Endgame. So I can really appreciate that. And the good news is it's standalone. Like if you don't want to watch any of the other Marvel stuff, you don't have to. And Galactus is actually terrifying in this film. Very well done. All right, guys, so there's my review on this. I would love to hear what your thoughts are if you've seen it, and I will see you on the next review.